Hi guys, Jill here. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a full face of makeup. You guys were wishing that I would have shown you my entire look last week. And funny enough, I did actually record that one as a full face, but ended up editing it down to just the eye look. It just became to be just too long. I was going into detail too much. So I'm gonna condense this one to be a full face look, and I'm gonna do the same thing that I used in that last one. You guys seem to be really interested in that one. So I'm gonna just do the same thing that I did there, except for, of course, I'm gonna do a whole different eye look this time. So here's a sneak peek to see if you think you'd like to stick around. So what I did with that particular look is I changed things up with my foundation. I've been stuck on using my Light Illusion Flower Beauty foundation because I actually really love that. And I decided, you know what, I need to kind of start using up a couple others that I have as well. So I am using today the Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation that I have here. It's a little light for me. Most of my foundations tend to be a little light. Hopefully we'll be able to kind of fix that a little bit as we go on. But this particular color is Gobi. It's quite yellow. It does have a yellow tone to it, but I find that if I do that, it kind of helps with the readiness that I can get in parts of my face. But the problem is with this particular one is it is a little bit more matte, that I tend to like a little bit of glow. And so to fix that, now I've done this a few times and I've been really happy with it, is I have been using the Flower Beauty In Your Prime Illuminating Primer here. And when I use that with, say, this foundation or even my NARS foundation, it does help that. And I get a little bit of glow in the background that makes it a little bit nicer. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. Let's get doing that. I do find that I have to use a pretty good amount of this. I'm just going to put this on everywhere. This does give a really nice glow, you know, kind of all by itself. It has a slight pigment, not a whole lot. But you know what, if you're just like, you know, I just want to put a little something something on, some concealer, maybe some mascara, head out the door, you know, you'll have a nice little glow with that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go in with the Tarte Amazonian Clay. This does not give me the same amount of coverage as the Light Illusion does, but you know what, that's probably the heaviest foundation that I have ever used, and yet I really love it. So go figure. It doesn't, I'm talking about the Flower Beauty one here, it doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all, and it gives really great coverage. This one doesn't give me quite that amount of coverage, but it's still very nice. Now I'm going to be using my little sponge here. This is one of the Real Technique sponges that I have actually dampened, you know, really pressed it into a dry towel afterward, you know, and what that does is it obviously poofs it up, but it softens it up as well, because when you first get these, they're a little hard. So I find that after that very first time of making it, you know, running it under cold water, really wringing it out, and then getting it in a towel and getting out all the excess, it's really nice actually to then use this slightly damp sponge over your foundation. I think it really does give a really nice even coverage, and I always forget to dampen my sponge before I, you know, start blending out my foundations. Plus, it makes the sponge feel so wonderful, so soft, cooling, really a great thing to do in the summertime. You should give it a go if you haven't done that yet. These particular sponges, I have used damp sponges that were other brands, and they just don't have the same soft kind of amazing feeling that these Real Technique sponges do when you dampen them and really kind of wring them out real well. Plus, I really do kind of like how it gives a more natural, I think, overall application of the foundation that I'm using. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of this also on my neck. I generally have to do this just because it's really hard for me to find an exact match. I mean, when does that ever happen, really? I don't know. If it happens to you, you're lucky. Still using the Bareminerals Bareskin Serum Concealer. This is in Fair. This is also really lovely to blend with the damp Real Technique sponge. It just feels so good. And it really softens these sponges, guys. I can't believe I forgot to tell you this. All right, so I'm gonna have to set this. I'm gonna also have to set my concealer as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Becca Hydrate and Mist. I never know if I'm saying that right. Setting powder. You know, I think I'm liking this. Again, I really just think I'm just kind of neutral on it, to be honest. Nothing about this powder really wowed me. Just to make sure that I haven't been just getting used to it and it's really amazing, I went ahead and used my Kat Von D Lock-It powder a couple days just to see if this is doing something that I'm not giving it credit for. And I'm really thinking it doesn't do anything completely different. I do feel like my skin does kind of get a little bit more shiny as the day goes on, because my skin doesn't generally do that. So maybe that's that hydrating factor, you know, that's in here that's causing that to happen. It doesn't really bug me, I've just noticed it. It does give a very nice finish. I have no complaints over that. I would say it gives me, I don't know, probably the same kind of finish that I get with my Kat Von D Lock-It translucent powder. Again, it's nothing that really is standing out quite yet. So that'll be my little update for now on that. But it does give a very nice finish. It really does. Kind of a little bit of a blurring effect. It feels very light on the skin because not all setting powders do. I do have to say though, and this is worthy of you know, talking about, is I do prefer using this to set my concealer over the Kat Von D Lock-It. Initially it gives me kind of the same look, but it does over time seem to not look as dry, and you know how when you set, you know, it does kind of accentuate the fine lines and crepiness, but you've really got to set that concealer at some point. At least I do, because it just doesn't last long and my eye makeup ends up kind of going down, and it just is not a good look. It doesn't take long for that to happen. And so while initially this will look, you know, kind of a little drying, I do put a thin layer on. I don't go crazy with it, but I feel like it looks better later on in the day than just using my Kat Von D. So that's a worthy update to talk about, I think. All right, so I am going to kind of do a finisher right now, and I'm going to use the Clear Radiance. I'm not going to use the Pure Radiance. That one gives a little bit of a pink tone, and since I am kind of leaning this toward a neutral warm, I'm going to go ahead and just use the Clear Radiance. So I'm going to swirl this around and alrighty. So for my wash color, I often use these a lot as wash colors. It's out of the Laura Geller Delectable palette here. And I'm gonna go ahead and go in to this one here for my wash color. It's a kind of a light buttery vanilla, has a little tiny bit of satiny look to it, but it's not over the top. It's actually really pretty, and I love having it kind of peek out in the corner, and if I'm not going to put anything on my lid, it's just a really pretty one to use. So I'm gonna really saturate my little brush here. And we're gonna just go ahead and kind of press this in, reloading when necessary. I want a really nice, even coverage in this. I like to really get it in the corner here. I'm gonna go ahead first and do my transition color with the Barcelona Beach. I love using this. It's such a neutral, beautiful taupe. I'm just so upset that they have discontinued some of these. Ugh, I guess that happens. And they're so full, like I won't be running out of these anytime soon. So anyway, but I have browsed on makeupgeek.com and I need to kind of probably update my collection, especially because I make these videos for you guys. So please don't get too mad at me for doing this. So basically for your transition color, if you're going to try to recreate this look, get a really neutral, soft, taupey beige for this that you may have already in your collection. I always have like a wish list going for my Makeup Geek in the cart, you know. I'll just like shop and I'll put stuff in and then it comes up to this atrocious amount and I'm like, yeah, right. And then I kind of keep it in there, but they have like a time limit. And so when I go back into makeupgeek.com, my cart is empty. It's a little bit annoying. I like when it kind of saves because it really is like a wish list. And then when you're ready to purchase, you can kind of delete the ones that you can wait on and then you keep. I shop like that. I shop like that in stores as well. I'll put stuff, I'll walk around with things, you know, in the store. And then before I know it, I'm putting stuff back. And 9 times out of 10, I walk out of the store with nothing. I don't know. I guess I go in thinking that I have this huge budget. And it's like, oh, if only, let's just have a little fantasy, walk around, put things in the cart that we think we're buying. Do you guys do that? This is such a beautiful neutral color that I'm actually gonna use this one to do a little contouring. Just very lightly. I always do this after most all the pigment is gone on the actual brush. But there's just enough there to do a very light daytime contour look that will be soft and appropriate for daytime. Okay guys, that blended out beautifully. I feel like I don't even have to use my little, you know, CO6 blending brush quite yet. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with Peach Smoothie here. I have no idea if they have this one anymore. I hope so. And I'm just gonna kind of put it right in here to kind of give a little bit of warmness, kind of warm up that area. So I'm just gonna kind of warm up this area right in here. Not gonna go too low, I'm not gonna go down in there. It's just the slightest peach color. And you know, peach, if you look on the color wheel, and why peach is used as a corrector for purpling and darkness, is because it is on the opposite end of those colors, the purples and stuff like that. So it is great as a corrector. It's great to put kind of here in the corner if you tend to have a little purpling, a little darkness in there. It's very brightening. This color is very matte, does not have any sparkle, any satininess at all. I'm putting it just a little bit here on the mobile lid, on each side here, just on the inner part of the mobile lid. And it's just a very subtle brightening effect. We're gonna go in with Mocha. You could use, you know, any medium, darkish, matte brown. Keep it on kind of that neutral side. It's not a rusty color at all. It's a very neutral brown. I'm gonna get just the tips of the, and I've been using, guys, the Morphe 441 brush for both the transition and for this application. So I'm just kind of tapping the very tips in, knocking it off. And I am gonna just do this quickly, and this brush is fantastic for this application because it covers up so much ground, and yet I still have some control here. Again, I'm paying attention to where I'm putting this. I don't want to bring this down a little too far, keeping it right in line here. And I'm going to do the other side. This application method here that we're doing, this particular look, is my favorite. It's excellent for hooded eyes, so if you have hooded eyes, this is a wonderful look for you. I haven't really done a video dedicated completely where I label it for hooded eyes or any of that, but most of my looks are great for hooded eyes. And the reason why I haven't dedicated a video to it, because I feel like YouTube is quite saturated with those videos, and there are people who do them very well. But if you want me to do one where I just, you know, really talk about the different application looks that are really great for hooded eyes and why they work, and where to put your colors if you have hooded eyes or any of that, let me know and I would be happy to do that. That's just the normal kind of gravity taking over, and it just starts happening. So it, you know, that's why I think I like wearing my makeup mostly like this, because, you know, my eyes are getting more hooded as I age. And then there are people who are born with hooded eyes, and it's the shape of their eye, and it's gorgeous. I think hooded eyes are very, very pretty, and it really does open up kind of a whole different look that you can do with your makeup, but you can pull it off really, really well. Okay, so now I'm gonna take that same color Mocha, and I'm gonna take it on kind of a flat brush here. Gives me a lot of control, and I'm just gonna load each side, tap it off. And I'm just gonna take this now, and I'm gonna be careful that I'm not gonna just lay it in like this, because then you're gonna have a line that goes out this way. So just take your eye, line up this angle here, and we're gonna tap that in down here under the lower lash line. Get it very close to the eyelashes, because we are eventually gonna kind of really blend that lower line out. I know that this is probably getting quite redundant because I say and do the same things, it seems, every time. But the one time I don't mention something, I have somebody that's watching it for the first time, and then they ask me that. So I feel like I need to treat each video like somebody new might be watching, and I'm sorry if it's redundant for those of you amazing people that watch more than one. Okay, I'm going to really wipe off this brush now down here on my little drop towel dealio. So now I'm going to take it and really just kind of go back and forth and mute out that bottom line that will just kind of disappear. And I just think this opens up the eye a little bit when we have a little something something down here below the lash line. All right, nice. Alrighty guys, so we are done with that. I'm gonna now tightline and waterline. If you would like to see how I do that, the video uploaded last week, and I will put the link down below. I show you guys how I tightline and waterline. Today I'm just gonna do this off camera, and I'm gonna be using the NARS Larger Than Life in Copper. And I'm going to do both the tightline and the waterline in the same color. So I'm going to do that, and we'll be right back. All right, so now I'm going to take this off my magnifying side. I have a 5x kind of flip mirror, one side's 5x, one side's a regular. And I'm just kind of put it back on the regular side, and I want to bring up that Mocha, that darkest color that we used today, back on my Morphe 441 brush here. And I just want to kind of bring it up a little higher. And if you have very hooded eyes, you'll probably want to do the same as well. And this will make it look a little less puffy up there, and it just kind of brings the depth level up a little bit more, just up another notch, which is generally what I like. And then I am going to take my Spectrum CO6 and I'm going to mute that top line so it's very, very soft. And whatever else needs to be softened for that matter. Maybe it's the side line, whatever needs to be softened. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and use mascara after I curl my lashes. By the way, this is a lash curler by Shiseido. I really like it a lot, and I don't even know if there's necessarily a big difference with lash curlers, but my daughter Hannah used it one morning when she was here, and she said, oh my gosh, this is a really nice lash curler, Mom. And she curls her lashes every single day. She said it just crimps really nice, and I don't know, but she said this is a really nice one, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I'm going to do that, put my mascara on here, which is the Too Faced Better Than Sex. I love this mascara. I always put a couple coats, you know, to build it up. Anyway, I'll meet you back here when I'm done. So for my brows today, I went ahead actually, which is something I never do, but I will show you next time because I've been doing my eyebrows just a little bit differently because they're getting more sparse. They're losing a little bit more of their shape. And so I've had to use the other end of this that I actually just used the spoolie on. I've been using the actual eye pencil portion of this and having to just kind of draw out a little bit more of that top line. Anywho, so that's kind of a little something different I've been doing. And then I will go over and do the foolproof brow powder in number 3 like I always do. And then because I know I'm wearing shaded praline, which has that very dark root, and sorry, we're getting road noise. I have to have the window open. It's been so hot in here. I use my same fill-in powder that I'm going to be using here shortly around my hairline, and I put just a tiny bit. Don't get carried away with using the fill-in powder, which is a root touch-up powder for your eyebrows, because it's actually not as finely grained as eyeshadow or eyebrow powder. It's a little grainier and it just looks awful if you do too much. But I do incorporate just a little bit of this, not in the front of my brow, but more kind of in the middle, you know, just to kind of give my brows a little bit more of a warmer, darker, deeper color. And then when that's all done, I will finally just go through it with my little spoolie and then go in with the Gimme Brow Tinted Eye Gel, which is in number 4. I'll go through that, let it dry just a little bit, and then soften it up again with the spoolie. So that's what I've been doing there with my brows. So now, guys, so I completely forgot that I had this, and I don't know why, because it's something that I used to use all the time. I think it just got stuck in the back, you know, of my bathroom little drawer. And it's the Manizer Sisters little palette here. This is called The Balm. That's the brand. It's a lovely brand. Reminds me a little bit of a of Benefit, kind of the same kind of packaging. Anyway, this has 3 colors here. It has a highlighter, a really pretty blush, and a bronzer. I remembered I love this bronzer, and I do. I'm so glad I rediscovered it. So I'm going to use a little bit of bronzer here in this palette to warm up the outskirts of my face. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Not going to go crazy, but yeah, I actually do like this bronzer. It's not too orange. You know, I think it probably turns more orange on me than most people, but not to the point where I just can't stand it. So I do enjoy this bronzer. I remember being able to wear it more than any other one that I had. So I'm just kind of warming up my face, just kind of in general. It also has a really nice finish on it. It's not extremely matte, but it's definitely not, you know, gonna make any weird kind of color when the sun hits it. You know, I have one that does that, and it looks okay until I'm in the sun, and then it just plays too much with the light, and I don't like it. This one's really nice. I don't even know. I hope they still make this palette for you guys, in case you want to try it out. And then for the blush, I'm going to go ahead and actually use this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and dip into that. a really lovely, not over the top peach color. It's really pretty. Again, it's not really flat. It has just the right amount of something something in it. It is really pretty. It's a really pretty kind of summery apricot color almost. I don't know. It is really pretty. Just the right amount of color. Just the right amount of kind of glow to it too. Really nice. They also have a little highlighter. What the heck? Let's dip into that too. I'm going to use this brush here. This is the Morphe. This is the Morphe 510. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to kind of put it right here on a little kind of half moon situation. Nice. Really nice. Okay, that gave me a really nice, soft, natural look. If you want to just go over it with the powder brush, just kind of a once over everything, just to kind of, again, blend it all in, that's probably a good idea. So now we're ready for the lips. I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with my Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. We're going to use the Flower Beauty Pink Dusk lipstick. I've been really into this one the last couple times I've been doing my makeup. I forgot what this one was called. This is Skinny Dip, guys, and I really do love this lip gloss. I can only do it in the center, top and bottom, but it's a lovely, it gives a little bit of gold flecking. It's really pretty. So that's what we're doing for the lips today. All right, guys, this is the finished look today. It's very neutral, very taupees and browns, and that's basically my day-to-day wear. Pretty much, I would say, more often than not, this is how I wear my makeup on a daily basis. All right, guys. For those of you that hung into the very end, a special thank you to you, and I hope you have a lovely week ahead. This is Monday, so we have the whole week ahead. Hope you make it a good one. I'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.